say that I am shaking with excitement because it will be literal and metaphorical. They say that. I first want to thank my uh, wife. I call her the rock of the family. She am married for 30 years. And there is my son who is 25 years old. He is called the rock star in the making of the family because he thinks he's going to be one. Without their help, I could not even be standing here. And I was not into stand-up comedy, but in a way I was into it because whenever I tried to stand up, everybody would laugh at it. So I was a stand-up comedian by design, not by intention. So, all of you have this phone here, cell phone, smartphone. There are two modes. One is the portrait mode, other is the landscape mode. Well, all of you are familiar with it, right? But for me, my life was in portrait or landscape. Mostly it's in landscape mode. I was used to sleeping, and then 80% of the time, and then the other 20% I would try to sleep because otherwise I would lose balance. But I was very fond of landscape mode. So I was hoping that one day I'll be in portrait mode. Today, thanks to Skip, I am in portrait mode speaking. Otherwise, you would see me in landscape mode, which would not be so much fun, isn't it? So I know in the end, when the later stages of Parkinson's, I got into residential B2B business. It's not what you think it is. It's within my residence, I could only go from bedroom to bathroom. That's the B2B I was talking about. So basically, I was also wearing diapers because if I wanted to pee, I had to get an early warning notice of half an hour because it would take me 30 minutes to go from a bedroom to bathroom. Luckily, I don't have to do that anymore. So I'm out of the residential B2B business. I know my jokes are so deadly that the audience will sink even before they can think. The people tell me when I said I'll be bionic comic. My friends, Indian friends said, "Is it Bionic comic?" Bionic means horror in Hindi. So they were wondering that my jokes are like the new WMD, weapons of mass depression. That's how they described it. I tried to be in sit down comic because stand up was not possible. Standing up was a big project. So I tried to sit down comedy. I recorded a few episodes of 3 minutes each, sent it to my childhood friends, and then nobody responded. I was looking for feedback. Nobody responded. I had to follow up with them, saying that, have you watched those videos? One of them said, I'm trying, I'm trying. I said, what is there to try, man? It's only 3 minutes. He said, no, every time I try to watch it, I fall asleep. So, and in fact, he suggested that maybe there is another other side benefit to this. You can sell these videos as cure for insomniacs. So that may be the better thing to do. I said, you are not helping me. So the next person said, uh, I see hope in you. So in about by 2030, you'll make it. I said, that's not giving hope, man. I didn't ignore it. And the third person said, we really laughed and laughed. My wife and Ritu and I were laughing so much. I said, did the jokes land? No, no, no. We're laughing at the attempts that you were calling them jokes. So that didn't help either. And the last one, it was the last nail in the coffin. He said, I have a suggestion for the name. Don't call it sit down comedy, call it shut down comedy. And then I said, this is not helping. So that was my earlier attempts at comedy. I'm 53 years old. I've never been a comic. But my Parkinson's, I was diagnosed when I was 43 years old. And if I didn't look at it in a humorous way, it was so painful that I had to reframe and I will be miserable for other people. So I started looking at everything in a comedic lens. And I was thinking that I am a writer. I've written 16 books. And I said, what if I write my next book? I cannot call it Slow and Steady Wins the Race. Maybe I'll call it Slow and Wobbly Will Win the Race. That's a better idea because I'm wobbly anyway when I'm walking. So if I somehow succeed, then it will be called Slow and Wobbly Will Win the Race. And my friend Sterling, unfortunately, is also diagnosed with Parkinson's. He's a better writer than me. I was telling him, boss, you should not have got Parkinson's. And he told me that it's thank you for saying it, but why specifically me? Why are you telling I should not have got Parkinson's? I said, if you didn't get Parkinson's, we would have co-authored a book and it would be called Movers and Shakers. You would be the mover, I would be the shaker. But now look what you did, man. We both, you are shaking, I am shaking. We can't call the book Shakers and Shakers. That won't work. In fact, I was thinking of going to Dubai and settling there because, I was shaking so much. People would call me Sheikh Rajesh. And it was bad here, but in Dubai it will be Sheikh Rajesh. And then if I mispronounce it, I look like the oil king there. And I'll get the respect that I deserve. But that didn't happen because doctor said you can't even go from here to Cupertino, where I live. So I was so immobile. So I was thinking what else to do. And then all the words in English I had to reframe, many of them I had to reframe. People think, no, what is fine print, right? So fine print had a different meaning for me. Fine print is whatever, whenever something is not fine, you print it in small letters. That's what is fine print. But in Parkinson's person, meaning is different. So one drug, I used to take 32 tablets a day. One of the tablets, I was taking 18 of them. This is what it is, the fine print. Just all the side effects. I can't even open it.
Unbelievable.
There are 6 pages. It's like Stephen King horror novel in fine print. That's what it is. If I take this, if I read this and take the tablet, I'll get a heart attack just looking at the side effects. I never look at it. So then I had another word reframe. What do you think whistleblower is? Don't think, because whistleblower is this. Just blow the whistle. That's all there is. Basically, because when in the later stages of the disease, I lost my voice, and if I get stuck in the bed, the only way I could call my wife was to blow the whistle. That's what this whistleblower means.
Wow.
Luckily, there was hope for me in that I went through DBS surgery, and I tried to avoid that DBS surgery for a long time, for almost 1.5 years after the doctor told me. Finally, I had to give up because instead of arranging the bed, my wife Kavita was arranging me in the bed, saying that put the leg there, put the leg here, put this hand there. And then when she tried to put a blanket on me, I said, don't put it here, covering my mouth, nose here. They just remove it a little bit. And then it was so painful to watch her go through all this pain. And finally, I got into 2 surgeries. One happened on February 9th, 23rd, 23. That was 5 hours, 45 minutes. I still remember hazily remember what happened before the surgery. And then I was in operation room 12 in Good Samaritan Hospital. And then there was some last minute, they gave me anesthesia. I was losing consciousness. In the last minute, there was some commotion because some technical equipment was not working. They were trying to get the technical support, and Microsoft technical support is not easy to catch hold of. Finally, there was one lady Tina, who came and said, I know how to fix it. And then voila, it got fixed. And the Dr. Khan, my neurosurgeon, he was so happy. Yes, Tina, what did you do? She said, oh, no, nothing. I tapped 2 times and the machine was started working. And I was praying to God that let Tina do not tap 2 more times because the machine might stop working. That was not it. But the bigger problem was Dr. Khan, just before everything went blank for me, said, I'm so intrigued by these machines, This thing, after all these years, is still working very well on Windows 95. I got a shock life. And after this, I'm going to put a suggestion box there. Please upgrade at least to Windows NT. That's what I'm going to tell them. So 5 days later, I had the second surgery. And then I was praying to God that please don't take me to operation room 12. Please don't take me to operation room 12. Luckily, I went to operation room number 2, and I was a little bit relieved. and there were 9 people who were assisting the neurosurgeon. It was 3.5 hours of surgery, the second one. And then the Dr. Khan came into the room and said, "Are you all excited about it today?" And my heart sank again. What if one of them says, "No, I'm not excited about today"? What will happen? What will happen to my surgery? Luckily, everybody seemed to say yes. And Dr. Khan, before I lost consciousness, Dr. Khan was saying, "If it's all okay to you, I don't like the orientation of the operating table. Can I just make it 90 degrees? Can I turn it 90 degrees?" And said, "Oh, to doctor, I didn't know the doctor was following Feng Shui and all." I said, luckily, when I woke up 4 hours later, I was very curious and I was asking the nurse, did they finally change the orientation of the room, of the table? And the nurse asked, "Oh, orientation, what? What table?" And then, "No, no, no, the orientation of the operating table, did they change it?" And then I heard another nurse telling her, "This guy is talking nonsense for a long time, don't answer him." I said, "No, I want, I want to really know." And then nobody would talk to me. Luckily, I survived.